Manga spoilers, by the way. After Gojo and Geto save Riko Amanai, aka the Star Plasma Vessel from Q, the Time Vessel Association, and the bounty hunters that were after her, this party of four decides to go to the beach in Okinawa. While at the beach, we see Geto pretty much tell Misato everything that happened after she got kidnapped by the Time Vessel Association and explain to her the schedule they have for the next few days to escort Riko. Fast track to the third and final day of escorting Riko, aka the day of the merger, around 15 o'clock, 4 hours after Riko's bounty was lifted. We see Geto telling everyone as they're climbing the steps that they can take it easy now, being that they made it inside Jujutsu High's barriers. As everyone is relieved, able to let their guards down, that's when we see Gojo being stabbed through the chest with a katana by Toji. As everyone is shocked and confused, being that they are inside Jujutsu High's barriers, we see Gojo ask Toji if he knows him from somewhere, but Toji tells him not to sweat it, being that he's not one to remember some dude's face as well. We then get a flashback to when Toji went to see young Gojo to see what all the hype was about. As Toji is walking behind them, that's when Gojo turns around to look at him. That was the first and last time anyone's noticed Toji's presence, when he stood behind them. And that's why he waited till Gojo was worn down, as we cut back to the present timeline. As Gojo sends Toji in the air, Geto quickly pulls out one of his curses to swallow him whole. Geto rushes towards Gojo to see if he is alright, but Gojo reassures him that he's good, as he explains that though his curse technique didn't make it in time, he didn't stab any vital organ, and he reinforced the wound with cursed energy to make sure the sword didn't do any further harm. Gojo then reminds Geto that Riko is the main priority right now, and tells him that he'll handle Toji, and he needs to go to Master Tengen's place. As Geto's cursed spirit jolts, we see Geto tell Gojo not to let his guard down as he leaves with Riko, Misato, with Gojo replying with, "Who does he think he's talking to?" As we see a blade stab the cursed spirit containing Toji from inside, we then see Toji emerge from the guts of the cursed spirit, facing Gojo menacingly. Gojo notices that Toji is wielding a different kind of sword from the one he was stabbed with, alongside a cursed spirit that's wrapped around his body, wondering where he got them from. As the cursed spirit is slowly disappearing, Toji asks where Riko went, saying how he was hoping to finish Gojo off with that one blow, saying how he's gotten rusty. Gojo replies, telling him that Riko's bounty has already been lifted, but Toji explains to him that he took it down, being that for a guy with no openings like Gojo, Toji took advantage by creating the illusion of an achieved goal, and that if there wasn't a time limit on the bounty, Gojo probably wouldn't have stopped his limitless technique until the very end. With Gojo realizing this, we see him bust out his lapse blue on Toji, but Toji quickly evades the attack with incredible speed. Gojo realizes that there's something weird about Toji, and that he has absolutely zero cursed energy, and that all that was earlier was him demonstrating his innate physical prowess. And because of that, Gojo can't read his movements. As Toji pulls both swords out from his cursed spirit, we see him dash at Gojo, but we see Gojo manage to knock him back with blue. Gojo can tell that Toji knows about his curse technique, and that's why he's laid low up until now, and that he has to have a plan that involves that cursed tool that he's brought out. As Gojo teaches Toji for not being able to use his cursed tool on him, Gojo realizes that Toji is gone. As he questions if he should rely on instinct, being that he can't sense someone with zero cursed energy, he then decides to try and sense the cursed energy of the cursed spear around his body. Gojo questions how and why he's so fast, but to defeat him he has no choice as he uses another cursed technique, Lapse Maximum Cursed Energy Output Azure Glow, to destroy all the surrounding buildings to try and weed this man Toji out. Gojo then looks towards the forest, thinking he might possibly be hiding there, but to his surprise, a swarm of flyheads start to approach and surround him. Gojo realizes that Toji was using his little cursed spirit as a shaft grenade, being that the flyheads had to be stored in there. As Gojo's view is blocked once again, and he still can't sense Toji, he decides to use Azure Glow once more, but that's when he clocks in that his target is Riko. But right as he's thinking about that, we see this man Toji appear right behind him as he stabs Gojo in the throat, revealing the other sword to actually be a special grade curse tool, the Inverted Spear of Heaven. As the Inverted Spear of Heaven is in Gojo's throat, we then see Toji slash through his body and begin to vigorously stab his right leg. As Gojo collapses to the ground with blood surrounding him, we see Toji exiting the scene as he claims to be remembering how to fight again. After Toji turns in Riko's body to Tsunoda Shigeru, the representative of the Star Globe cult, after shooting her in cold blood and murking Geto along with some of his strongest curses he had under his control, he then collects the reward/funds from this assassination mission. As Toji is walking away, we then see him come face to face with a bloody and beaten Gojo, as he just stands there completely unfazed, it seems. As Gojo says what's up to him, saying long time no see, we see Toji completely perplexed as he's looking at the man he thought he killed without a doubt just earlier that day. But then Gojo reassures him, saying how he's alive and well. Toji notices and realizes on the spot that this is the work of a reverse technique, to which Gojo says he's correct. Gojo then explains to Toji that he gave up on fighting back once he stabbed him in the throat. Gojo starts to explain, saying that cursed energy uses negative energy and that can fortify the body, but it can't heal or regenerate it. So that's why it's necessary to multiply it with even more negative energy to create positive energy, and that is the essence of the reverse technique. He then continues on, saying that the theory is easy enough to understand, but he couldn't do it at all up until now, and the only person he knew who can do it, referring to Shoko, can't explain for shit. As Toji questions whether or not Gojo is high or something, being that he's talking a lot, Gojo says that he finally understood the core of cursed energy when he was on his deathbed, and that Toji lost because he didn't cut off his head, and because he didn't use the curse tool when he stabbed him in the head. Toji then questions how Gojo said he lost, as he says the fight has just begun. Gojo shouts, agreeing with him. We see Toji make the first move as he dashes towards Gojo. Toji tries to viciously slash Gojo, but that's when he sees Gojo float away in front of him, as he says that the positive energy that is born from the reverse technique can be channeled into the infinity technique he carved in himself, as he says reverse rotation technique red, sending this man Toji flying through the building, pinning him against the wall. As Toji chuckles, Gojo calls him a monster, being that he survived such a powerful attack. As the second round between Gojo and Toji begins, we see Toji stretch out his arms as he mentions that his bones hurt like hell, as he recalls all of Gojo's abilities that he's seen, being the power to stop, the infinity, the power to attract, lapse blue, and the power to repel, red. Toji says that none of this will stop him, as he pulls out a long chain connecting it to the inverted spear. As this sense of uneasiness hits Toji, we see Gojo upside down as he's floating in the air glaring at Toji. Toji feels another wave of unease when looking at this awakened Gojo, but he reassures himself, saying that it'll work, and that he'll kill Gojo as he gets to swinging the inverted spear. As Gojo's in the air, we see him apologize to Riko due to the fact that he isn't angry on her behalf, and that he doesn't hate anyone, as all he's feeling at this moment is the pleasantness of this world. As he states, if not his most famed line in the series, saying throughout the heavens and earth, he alone is the honored one. Toji destroys the ground around him with the inverted spear, not only sending debris everywhere, but also creating a big dust cloud. And from this dust cloud, we see the inverted spear of heaven come out, as Toji whips it towards Gojo. As the inverted spear heads straight for Gojo's neck at incredible speed, we see Gojo pretty much unfazed, as he makes a hand gesture explaining the good thing about Jujutsu techniques that have been passed down over generations is that the instructions on their usage are classified by their predecessors, but the bad thing is that the info of the technique can easily be leaked from generation to generation. And as Gojo is right on the money, saying how Toji is from the Zenin clan, then he definitely know about blue, red, and everything there is to know about infinity. But there's one technique that even among the Gojo clan, only a select few know about it, saying when the infinity collides with the forward and reverse rotation techniques, the expulsion of imaginary mass is born, as he uses the sacred technique, imaginary technique purple. As we get a beautiful spread panel as this attack directly hits Toji on his left side. Toji then recalls when he felt uneasy, being that he doesn't work for free, so in this situation he would have just ran away. But it was because the person right in front of him was the user of infinity, who became the strongest sorcerer in his generation. So how could he really back down from such a fight? He wanted to deny it and go against it, as well as go against the Zenin clan that denied him against the apex of the Jujutsu world, and in order to reaffirm his identity, he warped his usual self. As he admits that he already lost at that point, as there's a gaping hole on his left side, Toji goes on saying that he thought that he had discarded that pride, and that he had decided not to respect himself or anyone else, and that he thought he had chosen to live like that. As Gojo asks if he has any last words, Toji replies with he doesn't know, but that's when he remembers Megumi, and says to Gojo that in 2 or 3 years, his kid will get sold to the Zenin clan, telling Gojo to do whatever he wants with that information, as he dies standing like a true warrior. Ending off this fight with Satoru Gojo as the victor. Hey guys, DarkheroJosh here, and that was the fight between Satoru Gojo and Toji Fushiguro. Now, around the time this video is getting posted, the fight has probably already started, or at least round 1 at least, at the very least. But hopefully you anime onlys enjoy what it is, because that fight is definitely a top 10, top 5 fight in the entire series of JJK. And as we waited pretty long for this fight to get animated, hopefully MAPPA does their very best to make this fight look absolutely flawless. But if you guys did enjoy the video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment down below what other moments or arcs from JJK do you guys want me to talk about and go over next on this channel. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a great day, and see ya.